All right, what is up, Utes fans? This is Joseph back with the Utah Utes Football Digest, and we have a big one today. The Utes are at home at Rice-Eccles Stadium taking on the Oregon State Beavers. Definitely a tough one. This game's going to be a lot about physicality, a lot about who sets the tone. Dr. Rob Cashell in the chat. Game day, let's go. Let's go, baby. If you guys are at that game, make sure you guys are going to be loud and set the tone. This, like I said, this is going to be a game of physicality. This is going to be who wants it more. We'll do the full breakdown here on this live stream. We'll talk about it. But I'm telling you, that's really going to be what it comes down to. We both have a very similar game plan. It's, establish your offense with the run, establish your defense with physicality and just smash mouth football. The number one key to this game is going to be who can do that more. I absolutely believe it's us, as I always do, but I definitely think that's going to be the big question. Like when you look at who won this game in the end, that's going to answer that question for you. Jeff Richards says, I am here. Good to have you here, Jeff. And super excited to be talking to you guys today. While I wait to get some more people in, I think one thing, if you guys aren't already aware of this, I'm sure a lot of you guys are just general college football fans, just like you're, as well as being Ute fans. So ESPN is not on Dish. I use Sling TV right now to watch football. And it is not on Sling TV either. So that's kind of a concern. I don't know if a lot of you guys are aware of that yet. Like when you try to turn on your TV today and go to ESPN, a lot of you guys might not have ESPN as an option, which is pretty crazy. It's kind of like almost every cable package comes with ESPN. But, is what it is. I guess ESPN just 3 a.m. last night with Dish, they shut it down and they're not going to be on ESPN anymore. That's pretty wild. So, if you guys do turn on your TVs and do notice that ESPN is not there, that'll explain why. The good thing for us is this game is actually on the Pac-12 network, it looks like, the Pac-12 Oregon network. So as long as you have the Pac-12 network, you should be good. Kind of sucks for Oregon State, huh? Getting Pac-12 2 weeks in a row. I mean, maybe they planned this. Maybe they knew Oregon State would put up a good fight against USC and Utah, and it would draw some eyes to the Pac-12 network. I mean, maybe that was the idea. But hey, either way, as you guys come into the video, please do make sure you guys like the video. It goes a long way in helping get this out to more Utes fans. And join the chat. I love interacting with you guys and getting your opinions. Any questions you have about the game today, feel free to drop them in there. And then if you guys are a Utes fan, please do make sure you guys subscribe to the video. We put out, we put out tons of content no matter what about Utes. So if you do, or even you're just a Pac-12 guy, subscribe. Dr. Rob says, good resource to stream games if you can't get Pac-12. I'm not sure what you're referring to there, Rob. Are you asking me, Rob, what's a good resource? Honestly, I hate to say it because it's kind of I don't know, I guess you could call it a sketchy thing or whatever it is. YouTube does not work for the NFL. YouTube is terrible for the NFL. If you're trying to stream NFL games, quote unquote, in a sketchy way, YouTube is not good for the NFL. But if you want to stream college football, I don't think I've ever had a situation where there was a college game that I could not find on YouTube with like a pretty solid link. The only ones are actually, funny enough, is the Pac-12 network. Pac-12 blocks the videos, but almost every other college game you can get on YouTube quite easily. P-Dodd says he has a way. P-Dodd, feel free to share it in the chat, man. Remick says, going to the game, I'll be there. Let's go Utes. I will not be at the game, but I will be there in spirit, and I'm going to break this down with you guys up until shortly before the game. So we should get a great lead up. Remick, make sure while you're out there, man, that you get loud and you get the team pumped because, like I said earlier, it's going to be a game of physicality, and that home field advantage, if we can really make that work in our favor, it'll go a really long way. So I hope everyone that's planning on being there, gets loud, gets wild the day before the game. All right. And let's go ahead and take a look here. So the first thing I'm thinking we should break down is going to be the team rankings. So let's pull it up here. I was checking it out this morning. Uh, so team ranking. So the first thing let's look at is going to be rushing offense. So rush yards per game. Let me go ahead and put this up on the screen. Give me 1 second here. Remix says, I will hate that it's at 12 and on the Pack Network. Honestly, I don't mind a 12 o'clock game. I don't like being up all night, especially if you go to the game, then you're up really late. P Dot says, on my way to the game. Awesome, P Dot. Make sure you're loud while you're out there, man. Should be a ton of fun. All right, and then the next one, let's check it out. So let me put this up on the screen. Boom. This is passing yards per game for the offense. Bam. All right. Oh no, rushing yards per game. Sorry about that. So offensive rushing yards per game. All right. All right. So Utah, we are number 21 in the country at 203 yards per game. And I'd say that might be slightly boosted by the fact that we have gotten ahead in games and been able to really run the ball at will a little because we have big leads. So I definitely take that into account. But either way, we're obviously, a really good run team. You've got Oregon State here. They're number 47 in the country at 170 yards per game. So a very good running team. Nothing fantastic, but a very good running team. Dr. Rob says, what is the key to victory today? Well, Dr. Rob, I think it goes back to what I was saying earlier. I think the key to victory is going to be physicality. I think we match up really well. I think both of our teams are super similar, Rob, and I'll touch a little more on that as we dive in more. Let's check out all these rankings, but there are some specific things that we do need to do to win this game. What is Oregon State's weakness? Oregon State's weakness may be. Let's finish looking at all the grades before I make a declarative statement on that. I've looked at a lot of it, but I'm kind of breaking this down with you guys as we go through. So, um, Michelle Bodkin just said Utah is planning something special today, and she can't divulge what it is. Well, alrighty then. Oh, speaking of something special, just so you guys know, I got a pretty cool giveaway coming up. I think that'll be a fun thing to do on the channel. I ordered something kind of cool, just a few little things. I mean, nothing crazy, but something kind of cool. So if you guys are interested in like a giveaway I'm going to do on the channel, stay tuned next week. I'm just waiting for it to come in, and then once it does, I'll add it into one of the videos and explain, how you can be entered in for the giveaway. Remick says Oregon State playing at Utah will be too much. Yeah, Remick, I agree. I think we're gonna win this game. But let's continue breaking it down here. Okay. So let's take a look at passing yards per game. All right, passing yards per game. This is another area that we're super close in. Utah is 72nd at 233 yards per game, and Oregon State is 75th at 226 yards per game. So, in that category, nearly identical, about as close as you can possibly get with those two. All right, and now let's check out. Let's check out passing offense and passing defense. So opponent passing yards per game. So this is our really good area. So this is, I know Dr. Rob was asking about what we're expecting to look for. I think this is a huge number in our favor, is the fact that we're, the number 11 passing team in the country. And I would say this is a real or passing defense in the country. And this is a real number because, yes, we had a game against Florida where they didn't really have to pass at all. They were just running the ball down our throats. So that number got a little boosted at first. But then what happened was over time, we had our game against Arizona State where they had tons of garbage time to throw the ball, right? And because they had so much garbage time to throw the ball, it raised that number a lot. So I would tell you that that's a real number. So we are one of the best pass defense teams in the country. I have no qualms of saying that. Greg Hawkins says, "Go Utes." Greg, hey, thanks for being here, man. I'll post the link for people to jump on the video chat if you want to here in a little bit. And then with that, let's go ahead and check out Oregon State's passing defense. Yeah, so this is kind of so us and Oregon State are pretty similar passing teams. Neither one of our teams is like amazing at passing the ball, but we're both like decent. But the issue is how our pass defense works, right? Our pass defense is significantly better than their pass defense. So that's a huge factor to take into this game. Also, not to mention our running offense is a good chunk better than their running offense. So now let's go ahead and look at running defense. So this will kind of be a big factor in how this game goes. All right. Rushing defense. Bam. The Utah were 53rd in the country at 134.3 yards per game. And then Oregon State, they're 65th in the country at 145.7 yards per game. Oh. All right, so 145.7 yards per game. So definitely, when you look at that, we basically have them beat in every single category. And I'd say we played a very similar strength of schedule to them, right? One pretty good team, and then I'd say one good team on both of our lists. USC is probably a little better than Florida, but I would say that was also at home. And when you factor that in, I'd say that counts the same. And then outside of that, we both haven't really played anyone too impressive. So I feel like we played really similar schedules, and our numbers look a lot better than their numbers do. And if you guys are looking for, something to get you hyped about the game, I think that's a big one for me. All right. Rob says to stop the run, force them to pass, then get pressure on the QB. Scally can run his crazy blitz schemes. Oh, you know what? I'm glad you brought that up, Rob. So one big thing that Oregon State has is their yards per attempt. So, bam, where is it? Yards per pass attempt. So this is for Oregon State. I'm going to pull this up. So they're number 29. We're actually pretty high up here too. I forget how high we were. Yeah, so we're 54th. They're 29. So how far do you actually throw the ball when you throw it? And they like to take deep shots. So they're in the top fourth of all college football teams in how far their completions are per pass attempt. So obviously very effective at throwing the ball, but also they take deep shots. So I think a big key to this game, just looking at these numbers and kind of, I did the breakdown the other day with Parker from BetUS. And I would tell you one thing he shed some light on for me that I hadn't thought about is that they're going to want to throw deep. So forcing them to throw short and make, quick, effective decisions. Because if you let him throw deep, you really should be able to make, or if you let him not throw deep, if you prevent him from throwing deep and keep him to the short game, it should get him a little out of his comfort zone, right? That's what he wants to do. He wants to launch the ball downfield. And the more you make them struggle and feel like they can't throw deep, the more you can focus on the run a little bit. So, good team either way. Both teams are very solid. But I think that's going to be a huge key to the game right there is who can shut down the pass game of the other team, and what can they do against our rushing offense, which is, a very good running team. All right, let's go ahead and look at some PFF grades as well, guys. Let's pull these up here. All right. Oh, let me sign in. And if you guys haven't already, please do make sure you guys like the video. Helps get it out to more Utes fans. Also, comment in the chat if you guys have any questions. I want to make this kind of an open forum today and let us, all have a little bit of fun. And then if you haven't already, please do subscribe to the channel. If you haven't already, please do subscribe to the channel. We're going to be putting out Utes content all year, all off season. So definitely a place you want to be a part of. All right, hold on. All right, there we go. I don't know what was going on with my PFF there. All right, so let's go ahead and put it up on the screen. Okay. So what I want to do is we'll do our offense, their defense, and then we'll do their offense, our defense. Let's go ahead and we'll start with our offense, their defense. So first off, a guy that's playing out of his freaking mind is Cam Rising. Like one of the better quarterbacks in college football on a PFF grade. But just in general, I think I've seen really good things. I've seen some games where you wish a little more out of him, but in general, I mean, I think we've seen really good things from Cam Rising. All right, so check him out here. The number 50 quarterback in college football as far as grades. And, that doesn't take into account the talent you're playing against. So, really good guy here. Cam Rising, you could take a look at the screen. So, a 81.8 offensive grade overall, 78.0 passing grade, and a 72.9 running grade. Definitely one of the better quarterbacks in college football and a guy that I'm glad is at the helm for Utah. So, whatever you want to ask Cam to do, whether it's run the ball or throw the ball, you should feel confident that he can, actually get it done. All right. And then let's go ahead and move to the next group here. Boom. Wide receivers. So wide receivers for Utah in the offseason, a lot of people had a lot of hype for them. It's been a question mark. And I think this is going to be a key factor. We lost one of our best playmakers on the team in our tight end, Brent Keithy. And it's going to force us to look a little more towards the wide receivers. And, Solomon Enos had a tough week last week. That drop that led to an interception was pretty annoying. Not something I want to see again this week. But, we do have a lot of talent in the receiver room with Jalen Dixon, Money Parks, Devon Bailey. Devon Bailey is starting to come into his own a little bit here. He's looking pretty damn good. Speaking of Devon Bailey, why don't we pull up his stats? All right, Devon Bailey stats. Let me put them up on the screen here. Give me 1 second. All right. All right, so Devon Bailey stats. So he's got 14 receptions on the season for 175 yards. So that's through 4 games. So, you extrapolate that. So 175 times 3. So 525 yards. So right now he's tracking for 525 yards and 6 touchdowns, which, obviously isn't amazing. But I think the bright side for us is it does feel like he's coming into his own a little bit. The grades are looking good. The eye test is showing that he looks good as well when you watch the game, right? I feel like he's looking like a good player. So I'm excited to see kind of how he develops. And is he going to step up in this game and kind of fill that void that Keithy left? Dr. Opp says, do you think Yasmin is more for blocking in his first game starting? I don't know, man. I think Yasmin is a really athletic guy. I mean, they were talking about him. He's 6'5", 250 roughly, and he runs a 4.5. That's pretty wild, dude. I mean, this guy was like a rugby star before he came to the Utes. And so I feel like, use him in the receiving game as much as you can. Yasmin should be a good, I mean, he has 2 catches right now for over 100 yards. He has more than half as many yards as Vele, and he only has 2 catches where Vele has 14. I know that's not fair because some of that is against backups, but a good chunk of that was against ASU, which is not a great team, but it was their starters. It wasn't like just some random guys. He's racking up yards again. He looked, Yasmin looked pretty good. And just back to Vele, though, I'm excited to see how he does. You can look at this list. Let me put the PFF back on the screen. I think when you look at the PFF, you should just look down this whole list. A lot of these guys don't have a ton of snaps to their name, but just look at all these names. A lot of great players on this list. And I'm really excited to kind of see who steps up out of this group. I really hope Brent Keithy, as much as it was tragic that he got injured, the silver lining of it is that he, opens up an opportunity for someone else to show what they're capable of and show that they're ready to be a star. So definitely a big one there. All right, and now let's look at the next position group. Boom. All right, so running backs. This has been a position, obviously, it's really big for us. I think we've seen some ups and downs, but more ups with the running back group. Maybe not quite to the expectations I've had so far, but definitely one of the better back groups in the country and a really good room. I mean, check out all 5 of these guys have a grade of 71 or higher. Tavion Thomas, getting the brunt of the carries, looking really good. Mekhi Bernard looking really good as well. And neither one of them is a good pass blocker, which isn't good, but Mekhi Bernard is killing it in the receiving game and the running game. You love to see it. And Tavion's doing really well in the running game. So I like both of those guys to be playmakers today. All right. And tight ends. So this is another conversation to be had, is kind of where do we go with tight end? You know who else I think no one's talking about is Logan Kendall. Hold on. Logan Kendall, really good run block, really good pass block. I would love to see him. He's ran 9 routes basically for a grade of 49, which is pretty rough. But Logan Kendall had some nice after the catch runs and stiff arming and trucking people after he caught the ball in his highlight reel when we brought him. So I think it'd be pretty cool to see him get the ball a little more. We'll kind of see how that works out. Thomas Yasmin, this is kind of what you were saying, Rob. This is why I don't totally agree that we're just going to see him block. His blocking hasn't been fantastic. I didn't know what the PFF grade was for it, but you could see it on the screen there of 44.5, which is pretty low. And I kind of saw it with the eye test. For a guy as big and strong as he is, you'd expect better blocking out of him, But either way, I'm excited to see Yasmin get in there and get some more reps. All right, now let's check out our O-line. Let's see how they're doing. So, boom. All right, O-line. So, Paul Miley, the number 40 center in all of college football, very good. An okay, maybe slightly below average run blocking grade, but still serviceable. And a very high pass blocking grade at 84.9. And then our guards, let's take a look there. All right, guards. Dude, what is going on with my mouse here? All right. All right, so Keaton Bills. I don't understand what the receiving grade is from, but anyways, 74.5 pass block grade, and then okay run block grade at 64.5. Very good play there. Michael Mokafisi struggling though. I mentioned this last week. I mean, a 54.5 grade. Both grades are well below average at a 57 and a 55.6. I hope he can get that figured out. It doesn't look like the rest of the guard room is looking fantastic, but we do have some good backup tackles, I believe. And, if Laumea did need to scoot back inside to guard, I don't think it'd be a terrible look to put some of those other tackles in for Laumea if we had to. Let's go ahead and pull up those grades for the tackles as well. I think those are starting. They had some rough grades early on, so let's see how those are climbing back up. Yeah, so Braden Daniels starting to look a little better. Overall, his ranking's not great, but he's also played some tough D lines. Pass block at a 78.8 and his run block at a 62.8. So solid grades there, and he's usually going against the best defender on their line. Lamea is still struggling a bit, really, above average run block grade, but the pass block grade needs to be better. That's not good enough to be a good offensive tackle in this offense. So I really hope he steps it up. He's one of my favorite O-linemen on the team. So I love the physicality he has in the run blocking game, but he does need to match that with his ability as a pass blocker. You can't just be a liability. Like, that's the thing about O-line. If you're really good at one or the other, that's awesome. but you can't be a liability in the other one. Like, you got to be somewhat balanced. You have to be serviceable in the one you're not good at, if that makes sense. Okay, so now let's go ahead and move into the defense of Oregon State. And this first position group is, for me, probably the biggest position group that could give us some headaches, and it's going to be their cornerbacks. So Oregon State Beavers. So check this out, guys. A 75.9 grade for Alex Austin and a 74.7 grade for Rajon Wright. And even Ryan Cooper's got a decent grade here. And the thing that scares me is, the run defense grade for Rajon Wright's very good. They're really good, and the coverage grade is insanely good. I mean, they're both overall, it's just a really good grade. Alex Austin, not as good against the run, but a very, very good coverage grade. Just to give you guys some perspective, those grades are both higher than Clark Phillips' grade. And they, like I said, they played USC. Like, USC is counting in this grade. And they played Jordan Addison, which is one of the best receivers in the country. I think it could be a tough day for our receivers. They've already been up and down throughout the year, but this cornerback group is no joke, dude. Like, this is not just some random sample size. And I think this is a really cool opportunity for our receivers to get to match up again. I mean, this has to be one of the best cornerback duos in the country. Those are really high grades, guys. And for them to look that good when they played a guy like Jordan Addison, you got to really think, for our receivers, this could be a real opportunity to show what you're made of, right? You're going to get an opportunity to go against some of the best corners in the country, get out there, do the damn thing and show them what you're made of, because this is not going to be an easy game for those two. And I'm wondering how that'll look. That also leads me to believe that Dalton Kincaid, I'm sure we're already aware he's going to play a big part of this game, but this would have been an awesome game to have Keith in as well, considering how good these corners are. We're going to need to throw to the tight ends. We're going to need to run the ball well if we want to, have a good game against these guys. All right, so now let's go ahead and move to the safeties, another position where I believe they have a good player. Let me go ahead and pull that up. Boom. All right, Oregon State Beavers. Yeah, so the whole DB room is pretty damn good, dude. And these are not like low snap count guys. These are all like guys that have been starting basically all year. So Jaden Grant, a 78.3 grade, and then Keaton Oladapo, 70.5 grade. Jaden Grant, really good against the run and very, very good in coverage. Oladapo, average against the run, but pretty good in coverage. So, we're not gonna be picking on these DBs, and I think they're kind of I noticed people weren't talking about those corners. They were acting like the safeties were the better part. And yeah, they have one really good safety and one okay safety, but they have two very good corners. So I really hope that we're able to work that run and get these safeties off balance. Kind of show them. But kind of, show them what's going on. And with that, let's go ahead and move to the next group here. So the next group for Oregon State is going to be the linebackers. So linebackers for Oregon State, let's pull them up here. Oh, wait, that's not Oregon State. All right, so linebackers for Oregon State. So this is where our mismatches are going to start becoming a little more prevalent. So they have one good linebacker. He's a 71.3. He's good. Easton Arnold, he's really good overall, very good in run defense, good in coverage. The other two, though, not so much, right? The other two, this guy's an okay run defender, but nothing special. And this guy really struggles in both areas, but I really like our tight end matchups. Like, even with Yasmin, if he can get one of these two on him, he should be able to really make some plays against this defense. I could really see him popping off if they try to put one of those two guys on him. So I really like that matchup. They have this other guy, John Miller, here, who's a good run defender, but it's only on 11 snaps, so who knows how good he really is. And then looking more at their front seven, let's take a look. All right, so the interior defensive line for Oregon State, this is where they do have a good group, right? And our offensive line is kind of up and down. I don't think we really know what we have in the offensive line yet. Lanky Boy says, "What's up, go Utes?" Hey, Lanky Boy, good to have you here, man. Go Utes. Very excited for the game today. So you take a look, it's a really good defensive line. If you take off the snap minimum, they got another guy here who looks pretty damn good. It's only on 3 snaps, though, so who knows there. And then edge defenders. So with their edge defenders, let's take a look. I don't remember exactly how good they are. Boom. Okay, so this is hopefully we can get an advantage here, right? None of these guys except Riley Sharp or anything in the pass rush game, and he's kind of a liability in the run game, which would mean you're probably only going to see him on third down. So you're going to know, or third down and long. So you're going to know what they're up to if he hits the field. All right, then let's go ahead and move to the next group. Okay. So this is kind of the exciting part, guys. So Oregon State's offense against our defense. Okay. So a big guy everyone's been talking about is Chance Nolan. Chance Nolan actually the 35th quarterback in the country and has a higher PFF grade than Cam Rising. He looks pretty dang good, dude. And they're averaging, in the top tier of yards per pass attempt. Let's go ahead and put his stats and numbers up on the screen. All right, Chance Nolan. So in 4 games, he has 913 yards, so a little over, like 230 yards a game, basically. And he has 7 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. So I think the big key here did I even put this up? Okay, cool. I did. All right. So the big key here with Chance Nolan is going to be to make him make mistakes. He threw 4 interceptions last week, and that's an awesome setup for us, right? Like our defense can really start to frustrate you. There's a lot of talent all over the place. And if this guy's prone to throw interceptions, we could bring that PFF grade down quite a bit more and bring those interceptions up quite a bit. I think our corners should match up very well against this team. We're a very good pass defense. So hopefully we can keep this guy off balance and make him make mistakes. He's not a great runner, which is funny. If I remember last year, he was actually a pretty good runner. But it looks like this year, not as good of a runner, but a really good passer. So keep him off balance. Don't give him easy targets. Make him throw tough throws short because he likes to go deep. All right, now let's get back to the PFF grades. Let's move to Oregon State's wide receivers. All right. All right, so Anthony Gould, number 2. They got a decent wide receiver room, nothing super special, but I feel solid about our cornerbacks being able to match up against these guys. Similar grades to what our corners have. I don't think we'll struggle too much against their passing game with their receivers. But either way, it's going to be a real good passing game if we let it be good. If we can hold it and play our game and make them do what we want them to do, then I think that'll change the tone. But if we just let them bomb it and take shots one-on-one coverage deep all game, that could be a problem. Lanky Boy, do you think we will see more passing or running in this game? I personally think we will throw the ball to our wide receivers in this game. I think Bailey has a big game. I actually disagree with you a little bit there, Lanky. So we were just breaking down. I think you just hopped in, but we were breaking down the coverage grades for these DBs, and they're really good coverage guys. And not that I don't see us passing the game. I mean, we're gonna throw the ball. I think we break 200 yards throwing the ball. We're gonna have to throw the ball if we want to win. But running is gonna be where our opportunity is. Their team isn't exactly amazing in the front seven. They're decent, but I think that's where their biggest weakness is. And if we can work that in and get them to start biting on it, then we can work that into play action and, hit our receivers and let them make plays. But I do think it is a great opportunity for a guy like Bailey to show what he's made of and step up when the opportunity comes, because he's going to go against some really good corners. So I really hope he steps up and shows what he's capable of. Let me get some water here. All right. All right. Okay. All right. And then the next group let's look at is going to be the running backs for Oregon State. When I had Parker Fleming on for BetUS, he talked about the running backs. He talked about one of them in particularly. I'll probably remember his name when I see it. I think it's this guy, Jamius Griffin. I think that's the guy. Yeah, 39 offensive snaps, 24 runs, and he's averaging 4.4 yards a carry, I believe, with not a ton of big breakaways in there. It's really he's really good at grinding the ball. But either way, not a great running back room outside of him, and his is such a small sample size that who knows how much you can really rely on that. I mean, 24 carries, that's like 6 a game through the first few games. So I'm honestly kind of excited about how this running back room looks. It doesn't look like anything special. They're not good receivers. They're going to try to run it straight at you, and you're just going to have to stop them, which, is easier said than done, but I think better than having really well-rounded running backs, right? Okay. And then the next position group for Oregon State, let's look at the tight ends. I know they do have one good tight end here, so let's pull up his grade. Okay, so Luke Musgrave, he's the guy that Parker mentioned when we did our live chat earlier this week. So Luke Musgrave is 79.2 receiving grade. That's very good. We're going to want to have someone spotlighting this guy. He's their best receiver on the team is Luke Musgrave. So we're going to need to find a way to, contain him and limit some of those big plays. I wouldn't be surprised to see Hubert creep up every now and then and go one-on-one with this guy. That would make sense to me. Or, even Cole Bishop, but this guy's a really good receiver. I don't know if I'd want Cole Bishop one-on-one with him too often. The next guy, Jake Overman, really looks like just a pass blocker. Outside of that, nothing special here. All right, now let's check out their offensive line. So, offensive line. I remember looking at this group. I looked like a week ago, so I don't remember the exact grades. Jake Levengood, really similar to our center, right? Very good pass blocker, decent run blocker. All right, and then the guards for this team. All right. Okay, so the guards for this team, we got Brandon Kipper, Henley Bloomfield, and Marco Brewer. Looks like these two, 58 and 68, are the main ones. They're both really just run blockers. That's good, dude. If we can generate interior pressure, like we talked about, this team being able to throw is going to be kind of the scary part. And so if we can generate interior pressure, and they're not amazing run blockers, they're like good run blockers, but nothing crazy. So we can still stop the run against these guys, and we definitely should be able to generate pressure when they're dropping back to pass. Lanky Boy says, enjoy the game. Hey, you enjoy the game too, man. Thank you so much. And if you guys haven't already, please do make sure you guys like the video. It'll help get it out to more Utes fans. Also, comment down below, guys, any questions you have about the game, anything you want me to spend a little more time on. More than happy to talk about it. And then also make sure you guys subscribe to the channel if you're a Utes fan and you haven't already. It goes, we're going to keep bringing the content. So make sure you guys get that done. All right, now Oregon State's offensive tackles. So one really good offensive tackle in Fuaga, 83.7 pass block, which is elite. Run block 73.3, which is very good. So he's going to, cause us some troubles. I'll definitely keep an eye on Jonah Ellis and Van Fillinger when they're matched up with them, kind of see how they do. This guy right here, Joshua Gray, not a liability or anything like that, but not anything special either. A 62.1 grade, 65.7 pass block grade, and a 60.2 run block. So nothing super special there. Not a bad player, but a guy that if we can get some of our good guys matched up one-on-one against number 67, hopefully they can make some plays there. All right, and then the cornerbacks for Utah. Let's check them out here. This is where Clark Phillips will come into play. All right. All right, so Clark Phillips. Oh, actually his grade went up a little bit from last time I saw. So he actually might be graded slightly higher than both the Oregon State corners. 76.5 defensive grade, 76.9 coverage grade. Oh, man. You'd almost be tempted to put him on the tight end. I know that sounds weird, but like if they're really, what is this tight end? Let's actually look him up. I mean, what kind of yards does this guy get? Luke Musgrave, right? Yeah, maybe not. He is a good receiving grade, but he is 169 yards in the season. It's basically the same as what Bailey has. And if I was another team, I don't know if I'd spotlight Bailey as like a guy that we have to shut down. You know what I mean? All right. And then, all right. Okay. But yeah, Clark Phillips looks really good. He's coming into his own, looking like one of the better quarterbacks in the country. The issue is the other guys, dude. We have no one else really stepping up at corner, and against a team that is pretty damn good at passing the ball, that could be a concern. I really hope we keep it tight and we're able to limit this passing game, because if we can focus on this run game, if we can win our matchups on defense for the passing game and limit the big plays, make them throw tough passes in tight windows, then I think we'll pretty handily shut down their run game. Let's keep looking here, but I'm just worried about these other corners, Matteelli and Travis Broughton. I mean, I hear a lot of people hype up Travis Broughton, but the grades do not play out with the way that people hype him up. And I actually think he's decent. I actually think this grade might be just a little lower than what he actually is. I'm just saying it's not like he's a lock to just shut down any number 2 receiver. All right, now safety-wise, so this is where we've had a bit of a turnaround. It was rough through the first couple games, but we did have a bit of a turnaround here. So RJ Huber and Cole Bishops with pretty good grades. 69.5 overall. Struggles against the run with a 35.4, but very good coverage grade. I mean, that's an elite coverage grade at 82.7. That's what I was hinting at earlier with him going one-on-one against that tight end and just locking him down. Cole Bishop, very good run grade, 69.9. The pass rush grade of a 92.4, and struggles in coverage a little bit, but it's not terrible, but definitely below average. You'd like that to be better. But either way, I think Cole Bishop shines when you bring him up in the box and let him just work the run. I think we'll definitely see Cole Bishop in the box today, so keep an eye on that. All right, and now linebackers for Utah. Okay, so big stud right here, dude. Karine Reed, a straight animal, grading out well in almost every category. Elite coverage grade, very good pass rush grade, and a very good, a good run defense grade. I'm definitely going to keep an eye on him, and I hope he can follow that up this week. I wouldn't be surprised if this felt like a real breakout week for Karine Reed, or it's a week that he comes down to earth a little bit. Hoping it's a breakout week. Lander Barton also grading out very well with a 69.9 coverage grade, a 68.4 run defense grade, and a 63.1 pass rush. Hopefully he can keep up the good run defense grade. Andrew Mateafa, 76.5 run defense grade. I love that, dude. Especially, where was it? He needs to step up the coverage grade a little bit, but either way, I'd love to see him get some reps, especially on any short yardage situations. I think that would help a lot. All right, and then interior defenders for Utah. So we saw they had a pretty decent line, definitely a decent run blocking line. Not the greatest pass blockers, but decent run blockers. Nothing exceptional, but decent run blockers. Jeez. So Junior Tafuna doing pretty solid on the year. Nothing crazy, very average grade, but not a liability anywhere. And I think that grade has gone up significantly over the past couple of games. We have a bunch of other guys that have been up and down. I mean, look at some of these grades, but I think we're gonna have to figure out a way to hold up in the interior of our defense. I think they're going to try to run it up the gut. The good thing is we got a really good crew of linebackers. So even if the interior defensive line does get pushed around a little bit, our second level guys in the linebackers and in Cole Bishop creeping into the box should be able to limit those runs to 2-3 yards if they do break through. Okay, this is where we're really starting to see some improvement as well, is in the edge defenders, dude. Like running to the outside on our team has been tough for teams. Like Gabe Reed, 81.8 overall grade, 76 run defense. A pass rush grade is 79.8. Damn, bro. Gabe Reed looks good, dude. And then Jonah Ellis, a 70.8 grade, 80.8 run defense grade, and a decent coverage grade. Not good at pass rush, but a decent coverage grade. And this whole room, I mean, Van Fillinger feels like he's starting to come into his own a little bit, but you could rotate, and this is what they do, really. They rotate a lot of these guys in and out and just keep them fresh and let them go eat. So a really good group that I'm excited to see today. I think they're going to play a big role in stopping the run. But outside of that, guys, I've been going here for a little under an hour. I'm going to keep going for a little bit. I'm also going to post in the chat the link to the video. If anyone is interested in coming on to share their opinion or ask any questions, I know not everyone does want to come on to the live stream, but if you are interested, please do feel free. I just dropped the link into the chat. I'd love to have you on. It's a lot of fun today. And feel free to drop any questions in the chat, but now let's start to talk about what we need to do in a grand sense and how I think this game goes. So like I talked about, we need to shut down the big pass plays, but I think where that's going to start is shutting down their run. They're above average as a running team. They're not amazing, but they're not poor either. They're like a pretty good run team. I think what they're going to do is they're going to try to run it at us, loosen us up, play action, take shots downfield, that sort of thing. And I think stopping that run and making it so that they can't rely on play action to throw is going to really start to make them change the game plan, right? It's going to make them feel like they have to do something a little different. And if we can do that, then they'll have to throw, right? They'll have to throw in short yardage situations and just to move the ball. And that's where we'll start to shine. So that's kind of how I see it. Stop their run, make them throw, but make them not just throw off play action and throw bombs. Make them work for every yard. Make them throw those nice slant routes that create some turnovers, right? Make them uncomfortable. And then I see us on offense. The big matchup is going to be us. It's really the same on both sides, guys. Like as I'm saying it, and I talked about it at the beginning of the video, it's going to be who can be the more physical team. It's what both teams want to do. And it's going to be kind of how this game comes to a close is who could be more physical. So if we can run the ball down their throats and run it well, then we'll be able to play action. This really good DB group that they have won't be able to just, lock down our guys. They're going to have to creep up a little bit to watch the run. Then we'll start to get open a little more. Also get Kincaid involved in the passing game. Hopefully get Yasmin involved in the passing game as well. And Vela, you're going to have to win some of those matchups every now and then. We're going to just have to see it. But outside of that, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed hanging out for a little while on this video. We got the game starting in a little over an hour. I'm really excited, and I'll see you guys for the post-game breakdown after the game. But if you haven't already, please do make sure you guys like the video. Also, subscribe to the channel. I'm going to get out of here. It's been a pleasure talking to you guys this morning. My final prediction is that the Utes win 31-20. I don't see them scoring a ton on us. I think that we hold them to a couple field goals. I think they're going to get yards, but I think they won't be able to get huge drives on us. And I think we're going to limit some of their bigger drives to field goals. And I think we'll be able to put up some serious points on them. So 31-20 is my prediction. I hope you guys have a great day. I'm out of here. Go Utes.